Shalom, coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone and to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is going to be titled What Goes Around, right? Because what goes around comes back around. Ecclesiasticus 7:1. Do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. So evil means bad time, wickedness. So do no wickedness, do no create no bad times to anyone, so shall no harm come unto thee. It's very simple, right? The whole premise of karma, what the people in the world say, which is just Yahweh, administering his judgment, right? If you don't do anything evil to someone else, it's not going to come back to you. Now people might say, well, I still have all these bad things happening to me. Well, that's because of the things you've done in your past life, right? And the things are done in the truth, or not in the truth, slack, in this life. I should say, just say this in this life, right? But why would you want to add on top of it, right? Heaping sin upon sin. That's just stupid. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. So get away from people that are wicked, right? Because they're going to catch hell because they're being wicked. So why would you want to be around them? You want to get caught up in that? Right? Especially if you know, stay away from them. My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness. My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. Right? So you don't want to sow on to the furrows of unrighteousness. No seeds of unrighteousness by doing wickedness. Right? That's why you want to stay away from people that are wicked. You want to stay away from people that are going to lead you into the wrong path. You don't want to do any wickedness toward anybody. Because like I said, like what I always say, the angels are watching. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai is watching. Right? So now we're going to jump to 10 from 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahweh, and his heart, which is his mind, is turned away from his maker. So pride is a very dangerous thing, because pride will cause you to do evil unto people, right? Because you feel like, well, no one can stop me. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm good, right? So that's why I'm reading this. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. So that's, for example, is like when you're prideful, you do wickedness towards someone, and you think nothing's gonna happen because you got away with it. Oh yeah, nothing's happening to me. I got away with it. But like they say about karma, it always comes and gets you when you least expect it. And that's how the Most High is, because that Most High is karma, right? He always gets you when you least expect it, right when you forgot about it. Then boom. Right? So, for example, the Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes. So those proud princes committed wickedness, right? Evil towards people that didn't deserve it, right? And then what the Most High did, he cast them down and set up the meek in their stead, right? So that's the so-called karma. That's the balance, right? The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. So those proud nations that thought nothing can happen to them, no one can touch them, like for example, Babylon, ancient Babylon, Rome, Greece, Egypt. And what happened to all of those proud nations? They got destroyed, right? They all got destroyed, right? And the last one to be destroyed is present day Babylon, which is America, right? And the meek are going to be put in their place, which the meek are the elect, Israel, right? More importantly, the elect, right? Because we're in that meek state of living right now, right? That lowly state, right? The hopeful elect. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. And he destroyed them because they're being wicked. They're committing evil, committing atrocities, right? Going against the scriptures. So they have to be destroyed because that's karma, right? That's what goes around comes around. It always comes back around like a boomerang. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. Pride was not made for men, nor fierce anger for them that are born of a woman. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, right? Which is the elect, Israel. And they that love him an honorable plant. They that regard not the law are a dishonorable seed, right? So the 2/3 are the ones that don't regard the law. And in other nations, the heathens. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Among brethren, he that is a chief is honorable. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes. The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. Right? So I wanted to read that because those are the things that, especially pride, they get in that prideful state. They think nothing can touch them, nothing's going to happen to them because nothing happens to them right away. So they think they're like the Most High. They think that they're the masters of their own universe, of their own world, right? And the scripture says that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, roughly paraphrasing, will give them up to their own lusts. So if they believe that, then he's gonna make them. Well, sorry, if they're lusting for that power of controlling their own reality, he's gonna give them up to that lust and make them believe that they're the ones that control their own reality, right? It's dangerous. Ecclesiasticus 11, and we're gonna start at 10:23. Okay. Say not, what profit is there of my service? And what good things shall I have thereafter or hereafter? Right? Again, say not, I have enough and possess many things. And what evil shall I have hereafter? Right? So that's what people say. They're like, oh, well, I have so many things. I'm good, man. Everything's good. Nothing's going to happen to me. What can possibly happen? That's what people usually say. What could possibly happen? What do you mean, what could possibly? Anything could possibly happen. Right? Or saying, what's the point of me doing this? Right? What's the point of me striving in the truth, working day in and day out, following the law, statutes, commandments to my best of my ability. What's the point of doing this? Like, what can I possibly get from this? Right? You don't want to be in that mind state. That's dangerous. Right? In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. So when you're doing good, you forget when you were going through it. You forget when you're on the bottom. You forget when the Most High was putting you through it, when he was testing you. You forget because everything's good. Right? And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. So then when you're brought back to a low state, you forget when the Most High gave you things. You forget about it, which you don't want to do that because you have to remember Job, when he was going through it and his woman was trying to, woman was being a demon, he said, well, are we to receive good and not receive evil? So he remembered when he was on a low, right? And he remembered when he was on a high. At that point, when he was on a low, he remembered when he was on a high, when he had everything. So, it's just like, well, you can't get all these nice things and not expect no evil to come with it. That's not the way it works, right? For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways, right? And he said, reward a man according to his ways. So reward could mean death. It could mean life. So depending on how you live your life, right? He might kill you or he might save you. But it's easy for the Most High to do that, right? Because reward doesn't necessarily always mean a good thing. It can be reward of judgment. It can be reward of, like life, a good thing. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end, his deeds shall be discovered, right? So you can be going through it for like an hour, like really going through it, and you forget when you had nice things. You forget maybe even the nice thing you had, or a nice time or a nice hour you had before that affliction, right? So you always have to stay in balance. You always have to stay in the spirit and realize that, yeah, like, what happened to Job? It's a perfect example. Are we to receive good and not receive evil? So that's it on that. The point has been made. I hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I'd like to close out by saying, Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. The honors to the apostles of the Great Millstone, and to the hopeful elect pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Death and destruction to his wicked kingdom, and 2/3 as well. Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal, Shalom.